Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another morning episode of Good Morning Fandom. I am your host, Generic Black Guy number 47, and today I have a very special surprise for you all today. Now, we have a few things we can talk about. First of all, the sun is so beautiful behind me. It's illuminating so brightly, and there's just so much to be thankful for today, including the fact that you all have joined me today to talk about today's subject. Now, for every subject that we bring up on this program, we like to bring on a special guest. Today's special guest is one that has been very much requested by a lot of you dear fans and viewers. He has just crossed about 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, currently at around 1,053, and he just crossed over 2,000 followers on Twitter. He's doing incredibly well, and I just know he's so thankful for all the support. And he has a lot of strong opinions. So from what I was told, he is a very good pick to bring onto the channel today. So everyone, please welcome our guest for today's discussion, KJ, A.K.A. Rakurai Network. Welcome to Good Morning Fandom. I'm so happy to have you on here. We've been talking about this for a while.
We have.
I've been trying to
really
bring you on the network and bring you on the show for so long now, and you finally took my offer, so I'm thankful for that. But before we even get started, how are you doing this morning? I'm so well. I'm so well, sir. How are you? I'm just thankful that I'm here. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for asking. Now, today's discussion is going to be on something that's very, very touchy to a lot of people. It's this entire discussion about the Dragon Ball Super English dub. Now, I'm sure you know about this already, Mr. Rakurai, but it's kind of come under some scrutiny at the moment.
It has.
It has apparently made some questionable choices that some fans are just not okay with. Things like just taking a lot of liberties with the script and things like that. And this is all after Dragon Ball Kai that was so focused on being so stringent to the manga, stringent to the original script, to where now these liberties are sort of just here now. And what a lot of people have been wondering is your take on the matter and what you feel concerning this subject, because I really do feel like this is something that we should talk about. So I won't stall any longer. What do you think of the Dragon Ball Super English dub? It's complicated for me because I feel like the voice performances are absolutely top-notch, but the liberties that are taken are very jarring to me, especially when, like you said, this is after Dragon Ball Kai, which was so focused on... Whoa, okay, shut up! Shut up! Whoa, what's up? I understand where you're coming from here, okay? However, I personally feel as though the Dragon Ball Super dub is the best anime dub ever created.
And that's okay.
See, it's completely fine, alright? But the fact that you came on my show, the fact that you came on my turf, you came on my territory, and you have the audacity to disagree with my popular and completely unbiased opinions.
Sir, please!
Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are?
Sir, please!
Who do you think you're impressing? Who do you think you're impressing? Do you think your mom's watching right now? She doesn't even watch your videos.
Please!
Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? You know what? You know what? You know she's gonna be a smart aleck about it. Get out! Get out! The door's right there. Get out! Get out! We don't want you on this show anymore. Go!
Are you freaking serious? You bought my tickets.
Go!
Come here. You told me
yes,
to come
I'm serious. Get out! Get out!
Fine. Fine.
I can't believe this. I can't believe.
だけど今日も徐々に文句なんか言って日常を踊る Crazy noisy pizza
Wow. I don't know what to say about what happened. It's been about 3 weeks since the show on Good Morning Fandom, and I have just gotten flooded with hate messages, all these hate emails. I don't know, and I figured I'd make a response video talking about what exactly happened. So, you know what? No. I want to just give my thoughts on the English dub, because I feel like I didn't get to elaborate enough on the show in the first place. And generic black guy number 47, I love you, but I just feel like there are some things I need to clear up before we go any further, okay? So, I went on Twitter to prove a point, okay? I wanted to prove a point purely that the English dub of Dragon Ball Super is extremely polarizing. So, I went on, and as y'all can see, I'm on the Twitter page right now, and I asked everyone, just describe the Dragon Ball Super English dub in one word. You know, most of y'all followed the instructions, but I got a good 70 or so replies, and just scrolling through this, it's like I thought. There is a lot of dissension here. There are a lot of very, very polarizing opinions here. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, you know, it's good. I'm seeing some people saying it's misunderstood. Some people saying it's trash. But I'm seeing a lot of responses just all over the place. And, you know, you got your donut answers here every so often. But overall, the responses really prove my point. It's not as simple as black and white when it comes to this dub. And I think it really depends on what perspective you look at it from. Now, if I'm judging from these replies, I think the response that I really, really relate to the most is the responses that say the word regression. And I definitely 100% agree with these. Now, why would it be regression? The dub is perfect. The voice performances are so top-notch now and such. They are, but the dub itself has its fair share of problems. It's been under so much scrutiny from the fandom, and I think for good reason. Like anything the fandom gives an opinion on, it's blown out of proportion, but there are definitely problems with this dub that I feel like should be discussed, and I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, there are a few different perspectives that you can look at this from. The perspective that I'll give to sort of preface my own is a more optimistic view on the dub. There is a large amount of people that would say that the dub is just nothing that should be hated on, and I can kind of understand where they're coming from on that. The word liberal describes it perfectly, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing still, because Dragon Ball Super in general is a more comedic show versus Dragon Ball Z. You don't get all those comedic moments in Dragon Ball Z, and that's why when Dragon Ball Kai comes out, there's not so much of a need to try and tell more jokes, things like that. But then you get to Dragon Ball Super, which is very heavily based in comedy a lot of times. It makes a lot more sense, at least to me, that a lot of these episodes have a lot more of these comedic lines, and I can't understand why people feel as though the complaints against the dub are a little bit unwarranted. That said, however, I am much more of a purist. I'm scrolling through these replies, and what I see a lot of times is just people who may not fully understand what that means. Obviously, you can never translate a dub completely, word for word, 100%, because there's such thing as lip flaps, there's a such thing as trying to get the timing correct. If you're trying to tell a joke, sometimes that can be dang near impossible to get across to the Western audience because the Japanese audience may just get it better. You have so many different situations that you will have to change things up. At the same time, I think there are points where we really have to look at this and say there have to be different ways we can phrase this. I'll take, for example, the donuts line, because I know that's been a big, major talk of controversy. I don't like the usage of that line here. I don't. It's just crazy because the lines are performed so well. There's very little to complain about from a voice acting perspective here, but it's that one line, that one line in and of itself that pretty much messes up the entire scene to me. And I can explain why here. You can use the argument that this is just a more comedic play on this scene already, and plus since it's technically filler, I guess, it doesn't matter as much. However, there are a few counterpoints to why I don't think that makes much sense. For one, if you want to argue that this is an American slogan for, you know, time to get to work, which it is that slogan, you can argue that, but at the same time, Hit is an intergalactic assassin. So even if you wanted to argue that this is just the Western audience trying to make an interpretation of this, how would Hit even know that if this is an American slogan? And I don't know if I'm reading into this too much, but there is not even an America in Dragon Ball, so why in the world would this even be a thing? I said the exact same thing with that line when it came out in Xenoverse 2. It just didn't make much sense to me. I don't know if I'm reading way too far into this, and I probably am, but it just doesn't make much sense that line is used there. Even if I take off those hyperanalytic goggles, right? If I just completely remove that side of this argument, the line still falls flat in one key area. No matter what you think of Dragon Ball Super, no matter what you think of its comedy, its tone, whatever it is, this specific scene is not meant to be funny. This specific scene is not meant to give some side of Hit's character that isn't there. There are definitely times where you can argue that Hit is shown to have more of a personality than just, I'm just here to do my job. There are definitely moments where you can argue that. This should not be one of those times. That is one of the most tense scenes in the original Dragon Ball Super version, because you're watching this and Goku is legitimately about to die. He's not making jokes in this scene at all. Now, Goku, he's not too pessimistic about the situation. He's smiling almost all the way through. But Hit gives his offer to Goku to let him hide away and say that he made him disappear. And then Hit's like, it's time for me to get to work. That's as simple as it is. But what the dub does by doing this is it effectively changes the tone, and it changes a piece of Hit's character. Again, I might be overanalyzing, I have no issue taking that criticism, but it's the fact that you are literally making this part where Hit is completely serious and making it into this random joke. I don't agree with that. You also have these parts where Goku and the narrator are talking, and yeah, it's funny. Yeah, it fits the tone, I suppose, of what's currently happening in Dragon Ball Super, but it's just not needed. It wasn't there before. And again, I understand this whole thing of like, well, a dub's job isn't to translate word for word, because I've seen that argument thrown out before, but it's not its job, but at the same time, it kind of is. This isn't a situation like the 90s version of Dragon Ball Z, and this isn't a situation like Ghost Stories, for example.
His laugh. His funny little requests.
Touch me.
His reprimands.
Touch me harder.
Not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
But this is definitely a situation where you have to think about more people than just your demographic of, I don't really care about this. Dragon Ball Kai, what made Dragon Ball Kai's English dub so great, and why I think the English dub is a good reason to watch Dragon Ball Kai, is the fact that for the most part, they do such a great job of staying to the script. But now we get into Dragon Ball Super, where again, I would argue that 95% of the time, the Dragon Ball Super English dub is absolutely phenomenal. It's that 5% of the time where it's just not necessary. You have these moments where, yeah, the Dragon Ball characters curse. At several points in the show, you can read the subtitles, they definitely curse. But the moments where they add in the cursing in the English dub, I'm not saying this because I'm a Christian, I'm saying this just because it adds in a lot of these lines where they aren't really there before. They aren't really present before, and they just sort of throw them in to please a fan, you know? And I know I sound like I'm angry at the dub right now or something like that, but I'm really not. Not at all, because again, the dub is 95% of the time absolutely phenomenal. I love the voice acting, I love the voice actors, I love everything that they've done. I love the maturity you can see in these voices, because, you know, starting from back in the day when Dragon Ball Z was first becoming a thing and coming to now, the voice performances are just through the roof. They're doing such a great job. I have been a longtime defender of the Rose voice scandal. I've been such a large defender of so many big dub controversies that have come up. It's just these line changes. I don't like that. It's the same thing that makes me criticize Dragon Ball FighterZ, is the fact they have these things that a lot of people call dub titles, where basically what that means, and I have to explain this because some people don't fully understand what those are. Dub titles are basically where the subtitles that are supposed to be there as a translation are replaced with what I guess the translators deem is more appropriate to this scene, when that shouldn't be there whatsoever. If I switch the game over to Japanese voices, I expect the subtitles to be 100% accurate, because the lip flaps aren't an excuse at that point. You are literally given a box of text to translate what you need. Okay, you literally have that box of text. So there's no reason to switch up anything at that point, but then you do. And it's like, why? Why? If I pick Japanese, I want the authentic version, okay? Like, and again, I'm a major purist when it comes to that. Now, that said, I know I've been ranting about that for a while, but if I'm just watching the English dub, I appreciate actually a lot of these changes. I like the whole thing with Goku arguing with the narrator, and I like little things like that, because certain things like that don't affect the tone too much. But things like Hit's donut line, I don't approve of it. I just don't. This is coming from a fan that has been a major supporter of most things Dragon Ball, okay? This is someone who was supporting Dragon Ball Kai's English dub and supporting pretty much everything dub related for such a long time, and I still do. Like I said, 95% of the time this dub is immaculate, okay? It's just those little things that are done that just aren't necessary, that I feel like are very, very jarring, like I said on the show. So, generic black guy number 47, if you watching this, just know I don't hate the dub. I don't. But what I do hate is just these little liberties that are taken that can sometimes be a bit too much. There are people who prefer the dub, and those who prefer the dub over the sub, it kind of does a disservice to them. You know, if you quote Hit and you say it's time to make the donuts, and you're trying to make that an actual quote, but then your squad looks at you and they're just like, bro, what are you doing? That's not a quote. That was made for the dub. What are you doing? I don't know if I'm explaining this well, and I apologize if I'm not. It's just a very controversial topic that some people see what the problem is and some people don't think it's a problem. And that's completely okay. Whether you like the dub or not, I'm not one of those people that are going to say, this is objectively the truth, you need to believe this, or you're wrong. I'm not like that at all. It's just from my perspective, I love the dub. There are just some things that they could do better. But let me know what y'all think about the Dragon Ball Super English dub in the comments below. And just let me know about what you think about the state of Dragon Ball dubbing in the first place, because there is a huge discussion to be had there about that. Dub titles, all these different things that I just feel like are conversations we need to have in the fandom. Like the video, comment below your thoughts on the topic discussed today, and also let me know what y'all want me to discuss next, who you want me to bring on, things like that, and we'll just get that popping for the next few weeks' episodes. Share the video out with people that you know and people that you don't know, but with whom you just want to harass with my videos! In which case, thank you. And please subscribe to the channel if you are new. We are currently at like 1,053. Let's get that number up, okay? There are about 1,000 of y'all that follow me on Twitter that aren't subscribed to me here. We gotta fix that. And my Instagram, we're not even gonna talk about that, okay? Because that's an entirely different problem. But let's get these numbers going up, guys. Let's do it. So again, I love you all so much. I hope you all have an amazing day. Don't let anyone change who you are. And God bless. Peace out, guys. And y'all send this to generic black guy number 47, because we're fighting.